Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host Brian
All right, buddy.
and Brett.
Yeehaw.
We are back, guys. This was a surprise hit last year. Farmer Wants a Wife, season 2, US version. Go check out our reviews of every episode last season. We even did interviews as well. This show is so wholesome, and I'm really glad to see that come back. This is one of the only shows that we really do review on the dating side, where I genuinely do believe that over 2/3 of them are really there and want like an actual relationship or are willing to actually try to make it work. Four farmers, all a little different. I think I liked all of them. And yeah, just excited for the season. This was the kind of picking of who's going to go back to the farms, who gets the first date, and some of the exits. So, Brian, I'll start with you. Just overall thoughts, farmers, the premiere, any kind of thing that sticks out to you.
Yeah, I'm excited for the season. The first episode is always like really tough. Like I was taking notes and it's like
Hard.
impossible. Like they just, especially like last season, we had three farmers and now there's four. So they just squeezed in another dude in just an hour. But yeah, I'm excited. We'll learn more about the people, I think, next week and then kind of get a gauge. I mean, I thought we were going to see everybody but then like it's really like sped up after like meeting the first date or first speed date. But yeah, I'm excited.
Right.
You threw me for a loop on that one. I had to think. No, there were four farmers last time. I was like trying to remember and count who they were. But yeah, there was four last
There
time.
was four?
Yeah, there was
Oh, there
four.
was three.
Yeah. But I liked how the one guy, apparently he's a new farmer, so whatever the heck that means. And he
First
did
generation.
yeah, he doesn't wear the stereotypical farmer's hat, cowboy hat or whatever it is. So and I like that. I know last season we had questions about like how the whole
Mitchell.
casting process worked, where they like picked each other's profiles. So in this season, they did at least show us kind of how that broke down. Very briefly, where they basically everyone applied, and then they basically did like a giant Tinder swipe through to see which 8 girls they wanted to invite.
I'd like to
So
give ourselves credit for that since we asked that question last year.
producers
Yeah.
were involved, so right, they probably took that criticism back or advice back.
Yeah.
What it's so genuine because, like you said, a lot of these dudes, and they all say it, most of them, for the most part, like live in secluded areas. There isn't a lot of active dating going on in their areas, maybe not even a lot of eligible bachelorettes that they know. And I always just get a kick out when these guys get their introductions and they walk into the room and they have 8 women for them and this is your group. And whoa, they're just genuine, like, man, I don't think I've ever seen that many chicks at the same time except like in high school. So really genuine. Let's run down the farmers and we can kind of give our feedback on them. Brett, we'll start with who you teased already. Mitchell, first generation farmer. Really interesting. He was funny. He said his brother was an accountant or a financial advisor, and his brother's a doctor, and he decided he wanted to be a farmer, which you just like don't see anymore outside of I feel like in this country, I'd love to know the percentage of farmers that are second generation farmers. How many people now decide to go into farming? He's like 27, so good age. uh we got to see his first date. We had Sydney, which was really interesting. She was the girl who fishes, hunts, and works construction.
Mhm.
Seems really like the perfect lineup woman. I wonder if when we get to the end of the season, it'll be interesting to say that was the first grouping we saw and if they ended up together.
Yeah, I
I,
think that's I wrote down the good that she's like I feel like she's gonna make it pretty far.
I mean, it might be too obvious just because the edit and all that, and there's only or there's only five per tribe or per farm. I think
Tribe.
I think it's between her and Kiana at this point, which I
Yeah.
mean, the two that got the
I
most
like
screen.
Kiana.
So it feels a little
Mhm.
obvious, but I was thinking, yeah, Sydney. I mean, she seems like a great match for him, and then I think he likes Kiana too. So one of them.
Just to make sure I keep us in line, Mitchell, 27, and he is from Tennessee because they were highlighting the state. So I want to make sure we
Mhm.
keep that in mind as we
He's
go.
he's from outside Nashville, so whatever that means. So I mean,
Not inside Nashville.
Right.
right.
That's all
What
I
is
got.
outside Nashville? I mean, he seems to be the most like he was smooth as hell too. I'm not gonna lie. Like when he spoke to Sydney, he was, oh, don't apologize when you hold my hand, and
He
he's a
seems
smooth.
more polished than some of the others, but like you said, if he's outside of Nashville, he's not in one of these cattle ranches, or we get to the potato farmer
Yeah,
where
potato
he's got
man.
1,000 acres. You know what I mean? So that's a little bit different. There's just not as much space in that Tennessee area. We might as well just go over who he picked in the end. He took Sydney, who I liked, obviously, Melody, Kiana, like you mentioned, Brett, Caitlin, and Brittany. I know that there was an Emily eliminated from his group. I don't know, Bri, if you had the second person, if not with process of elimination.
This is what I think they had 8 people, so 3 would go home. But I don't know the people because they don't. This show doesn't give a lot of justice to the
Yeah,
people.
they don't do a lot of justice for the
Unfortunately.
eliminated people. So we apologize. I have the cast list up, but we are going to at least focus on who's there. As
Yeah.
of next week, when someone gets eliminated, we obviously will know.
Yeah, it's just tough and it's unfortunate because I mean everybody seems pretty cool and I'd like to like at least get a confessional out of each person, but 60 minutes is tough.
You made a very good point, Brian. You got to be on your toes, taking notes for this show. They alternate guys, women.
Yeah, I had to rewind multiple times.
The first and second woman that each farmer picked, they fully did their walk-ups, and then the third of each they snuck in.
Oh yeah,
like they just said their name really quick, and I was like,
I rewound Mitchell's like 5 times because I missed them.
Yeah, you're gonna probably have to correct me on some of the pronunciations on some of the names because I probably have them wrong.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Nathan.
They showed a little of each girl. I think every girl got like a little bit. Maybe they didn't speak, but they at least got B-roll footage.
Yeah, so, they were on screen, but I mean, I wanted to see
but
what they do. Like put your name on the screen, your age, and your job at least once. And yeah, it's just tough. Sure. It's tough.
I want to hear why he doesn't pick each girl.
It's just I didn't get to talk to you enough, and they're very conscious of being kind on this show, and so that is like the only thing I feel like they just kind of dropped the ball on. We're just just mention them, get them back in a pool for the next season. Like let them try again.
Yeah, he's getting 10 minutes. They're getting 10 minutes a person, so they're really making these decisions off 10 minutes.
Tough. Nathan's the opposite a little bit here. Nathan is a 4th generation cattle farmer, 23 years old, super young. I think, in my opinion, a little bit too young to be rushing into this show. His name's Nathan Smothers. He is they didn't mention this part. He's also a citrus farmer from he's in Florida. Cattle and citrus, oranges and beef.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited to kind of see like the day-to-day when they do stuff on his, but yeah, 23 is way too young. He said he's mature, but I don't believe it.
Well, he said he was the one. He has multiple sisters. This is one that his dad died when he was really young, so he had to be the man of the house. So frankly, if you're living on a farm, I can almost believe that way more than probably any other show. If we watch anybody talk about having to be
I mean, yeah, okay, he's definitely mature to other shows we watch, but here, I mean, 23 is really young.
Oh yeah, my God,
He Ty's 42.
Ty's got a kid who's literally half the age of Nathan. Nathan picked Kristen, Mackenzie, Taylor. I had his Allie and Rachel.
Yeah, it's Allie, Allye.
Okay, Alley Cats.
Yeah.
I like Nate. It's gonna be an interesting story. Obviously, I think it's gonna be part of his storyline. They're gonna go over a lot of him having to grow up without like a dad, and I wonder if looking for someone with a big family, some of that kind of dynamic. Interested to see where that goes. Anybody have any other opinions on the Nathan stuff before we move on?
Yeah, so I know you guys just said he was young. Obviously, he is, the whole dad thing. So he said his mom had a job too and had to raise the family. Like, is she still a farmer herself, or like did this man take over a farm at 12 years old by himself? Because
we'll find out, man. We'll definitely find out. They have the friends and family come in and like grill. Like,
is there an uncle or something?
Yeah, I was thinking it's got to be an uncle, or maybe it's a family business.
Frankly, if you were it was the owner of the business and you said it was running the farm, all the farm hands are still there. Probably the mom probably did run it, but that's why I like this show, because we do find out these.
Yeah, they'll tell us.
Thomas, you mentioned Brian. He is not Thomas. Sorry, Ty. It changed it. My one autocorrect. Ty. He is 42. He has a 12-year-old daughter, divorced. He is in Missouri. Mm-hmm. That was the Missouri one. He had Christine. Christine was interesting. She was the New York State realtor. I literally wrote in my notes, 0% chance this woman makes it. She did have the notable "what turns you on" question that he didn't know how to answer. But then an hour later, she wasn't about that life and she quit the show.
Same thing happened last season. Like somebody quit like off rip.
I think they just realized that, like,
I think they're like, oh man, I got to live on a farm for X amount of weeks. This could be really actually tough, especially coming from New York. That's a culture shock.
Well, I mean, you could see it on their date though. Like it went from like because we had the Mitchell with Sydney, right? Like instant chemistry to
Mm,
this guy and this girl, like two dead fish trying to talk to each other, and complete opposites. Like he. It looks like he probably shut down after she said the thing about like what turns you on,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
so he's a roper, whatever that means, but he should have said ropes.
There also, remember, we mentioned the New York City thing specifically that came into play last season. Remember
Yeah, that
the
was that one chick.
the one girl or family was like, this is like you're not going to do this, right? And
Yeah,
so, frankly, I do appreciate that she. I mean, he probably appreciated it too. It was one less person he had to actually eliminate, right?
right.
It made it a
Yeah,
little
true.
bit easier on him. I don't think she was making it through anyway, but
No,
I don't think there was much of a mesh there. Ties women are Brooke, Tammy, Amy, Megan, and Melody.
I
With
thought it was Aaron.
is that what it is? I knew I was missing. There was one
I
that
think
is
it
it
was
Aaron
Aaron. Yeah, I
instead of
rewound
what?
his too. I'm pretty
Instead of
sure it
what?
was Aaron. I could be wrong, but I
Instead of
had
Amy or Megan.
no. Amy's right. I have Brooke, Aaron, Amy, Megan, Melody.
Last person was Brandon. Brandon had where was Brandon from?
I missed where he was from. Gross
Brandon
potatoes.
Rogers is from Colorado. He is
Colorado.
this was the potato and barley farmer.
Okay,
2 hours away from the nearest town, 4 hours from the nearest airport. He said he had 1,000 acres. That's a
that's
big
wild.
potato farm, dude. The big old
Is
potato farm.
Are potatoes and barley gardening? Because one girl was like, "That's gardening, right?"
That was probably one of the funniest. It's probably been the funniest question. That was Madison. She said she had the one liner ready about hay, and
Yeah,
then when she said, "Let me just ask you, what does a farm do? Is it like gardening?"
and he was like, "I'm not picking you." That joke stunk.
He really was like, "You really are not going to fit in well.
Yeah,
This is going to be a culture shock for you. No, thank you."
I
We
think
got women like that, and we have women who drives a tractor trailer.
yeah.
So it's like the backhoe. She has that all on
farming is
full.
gardening for men.
He said it was like on a much higher scale.
It's like
What he did.
commercial gardening,
Yeah.
but it's farming. He went with Reba, Grace, Joy, Brooklyn, and Annalise. Uh, Notable that they also are going to have 24-hour head start one-on-ones, which is pretty significant, a full day. Nathan is taking Mackenzie. Ty is taking Melody. Brandon is taking Reba. And Mitchell is taking Kiana. Kiana was the dog trainer from LA.
Yeah, I mean, I think the choices with the who they did on 24 hours are not like totally surprising.
No, I don't think so.
Reba,
Although
the only thing about Reba is like she has the kid, and
the
that
kid,
that always is our like.
no one's ever
Brandon's
going
like,
to win a
oh, well,
reality show with a
she was
kid.
like, how do you? I have kids. Oh, I coach basketball. I was like, okay,
I was a substitute teacher a couple times. It's like
that's not how it works, guy.
She,
this kid may want to just play Fortnite. He may not want to work on the farm.
Yeah,
as the single guy who for some reason matches with girls with kids, it's like I feel like a son is like one thing. It's like, oh yeah, I let's play basketball or something. But if it's a daughter, it's like, well, that's like a whole other ball game, I
You're like,
guess.
I'm out of my, I'm out of
Do
my
I want to
depth.
jump like with a boy? At least like I've had younger brothers, so like, hey, let's be buddies. But with the daughter, I have no idea what to do.
I think it's a real. It's not saying it's bad to have a kid and be single and stuff. It's just that for these
it's just
shows,
hard on a show like these.
you're asking a lot. Someone to
Yeah,
move and then have to relocate a child. It's really tough.
it's far too, man. That if it's 4 hours from an airport, like
God.
he needs Wi-Fi at this point. If the kid is he
Probably
said
satellite internet.
oh Ty's kid was 12, Brandon Reba's is 5, so I guess they're
Yeah.
not really doesn't
Ty's
matter.
daughter's 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough too. A 12-year-old daughter.
No, that's super tough. That's
At least she already lives there, right? So it's not like you're relocating her. You are just bringing. I'm not saying either is easy to bring like a parent figure into your home, but at least you're not asking her to relocate.
well, yeah, it's Ty. Yeah, Ty's kid obviously is going to have a big say probably on who he chooses. Reba, I mean, we'll see if she makes it that far. Did it even matter that we'll meet?
Yeah.
He
I don't
should
even
let
remember.
his daughter do one of the elimination rounds.
Reba's in the position where she's competing against four other women. Ty,
Yeah.
in his position, he's the decision maker. So like it's a little bit different.
Right. Yeah. Right.
No, for sure. I agree. overall, I thought a good premiere. There's a lot to have to do in that first hour. Frankly, it's a testament. If they can do that in an hour, I don't know why most of the Bachelor episodes we watch need to be 2 hours.
Agree.
So just something to think about. I don't really think the
Can I
ABC.
say something real quick?
Of course you can.
Yeah, so I don't know if you caught this, Bill, but did you hear when they said like across all shows they had 200 marriages and 500 children?
Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
that's
that's
been going on for a while, right?
yeah. So I mean that's better than The Bachelor, man. That's
I
way
did I
better than
did
The
get a
Bachelor.
feeling that we were going to get an actual relationship out of this season. It does seem like we have a lot of motivated people to date. Last season seemed like a little bit more fish out of water for me, at least from off the
Yeah,
bat. Who knows as we go, but there are some real contenders, I think.
yeah. They
So
probably could have done a better job with like casting this time because they have a season under their belt to figure out. Not like we liked the cast last season. Like we're friends with some of them, but
yeah, we like the cast for
yeah,
sure.
I
It's
think like you said, Bill, it's like I get a really good sense that all the guys are there for the right reasons.
oh
And
boy.
I would say the girls too, like so far, nobody was really giving me red flags. Like, remember last season, like what was it, Cassidy Joe right off the rip was like she doesn't want to be here. She doesn't marry somewhere.
Well, all the girls from last season would have been more so like, I want to be on reality TV
Yes,
than
yes,
farm necessarily. Whereas this one, like you said, they have a season under their belt. So these
yeah,
girls are like, oh, this is an option for me because I want to do the farming thing.
yeah. So
They seem very specific to wanting to do this show, like you said,
yeah,
as opposed to someone who signed up for any show and this is
yep,
the one they got ended up getting placed on, basically. So
yep.
good start. Farmer Wants a Wife. Like I said, go check out our playlist from last season. If you haven't seen last season, you should go check it out for sure. Check out our interviews, and we will be back next week, episode 2. Go check out everything else that we're reviewing. A lot of shows premiering, a lot of things coming up, especially in the next few weeks and this week as well. For myself, Brian, Brett, everyone at the Reality Guys, thank you so much for watching. Peace.